It's currently 7/4/26, roughly 11:05. And I was just pondering here on the 4th of July when everything was signed into being. I believe it was 1776. And I make this video or at least talk about it every year. Um, all y'all blacks that celebrate this day, I'm not sure for what reason, because it wasn't until 1865, almost 100 years later, you were freed. And with Juneteenth, even then they still refused to free you. But what has changed besides that day of 1865, which modified your oppression and allowed your oppression to continue and to be targeted by the police? But as a black man, I don't see how you celebrate these. What they say, celebrating your feast days of the enemy, as still the storms come by Elder Marley, Ziggy. Their heroes are my enemies. So you're celebrating that which isn't for you, and more so big ups your enemy. But I have to get back to the Bible. When you think about Amalek and I believe Exodus do Deuteronomy on their journey out, at least Deuteronomy 25 17 through 19 states, don't make any deals with Amalek, utterly destroy him, for you remember how he attacked you from the rear, killing your elders, women, children, etc. So when you understand that's the father. So I would say that's the father Amalek, if not the children, but still, they say it's the father at the time of Moses. Moses is now gone. You now have Yahshua. And then now I just Googled, there's 12 judges after Yahshua, the book of Judges. Estimated 12. And they always say, the judge come, Israel did good for 40 years, did good for 80 years. So at the very minimum, 40 times 12 is 480. And I know one of them says 80 or 60 years, so that's even more, at least 500 years plus. But then you go to 1 Samuel 15:3, stating, make no deals with Amalek, basically, but utterly destroy him. Meaning, he's still doing the same thing that his father was doing when the time that Moses brought them out of captivity. Over 500 years later, they're still doing the same, and I could probably find even later. If I remember, I'll probably put a link in my description. But you can probably, there it is. Psalms 83, 1 through God bless. I think like 1 through 6 or 7. It cites Amalek as being one of those who are confederate against thy chosen ones. It's right there. Psalms 83, which is, I'm not sure the exact order, but if you go, yeah, exactly. Well, Samuel is Dawood, and Dawood is cited. That's the very reason why he became in power, because Saul made a deal with him, and therefore was removed. Was removed from being the king, and Dawood was now crowned. Amalek is both the grandson of Esau and the nomadic nation of descendants from him. So yeah, oh my God, Amalek is Esau's child. That's crazy. Yeah, so it says he's discussed in Exodus, I guess that's where they did it, 17:8 through 6, and also 25:17 through 19 of Deuteronomy. So I'm assuming Exodus 17, 8 through 6 is showing what they did to you. And then Deuteronomy is the pact that Moses made with Israel to utterly destroy him. But also he cited in Psalms as one of the tribes that are against you to destroy you. So, yeah, first half they had to go and strike Amalek and completely destroy him. So you have over, like I said, judges is 12 judges, and it's at least 40 years in between where they're having peace, and then they go. See, that's the whole purpose of the judges. They keep rising up every time Israel falls and go back into negativity, and they now become it's like a retarded offspring, and now become oppressed by this. It's like my other video, battered women syndrome, part 1 and 2. And they keep going, like their children, they obviously like 40 years, 80 years, their children are going back and making deals with these nations who hate them and then become oppressed. Then the Most High has to send another judge, 12 times. And likely it was more. It's like Yahushua. All his works are not written in this book. That's a summary, and probably some who were just, who was held high by the Most High, or just did things differently. I'm not sure, but it's at least 12. But that shows the that's why it says teach your children young. See, a young boy. I'm not my father. They fall into that trap of it doesn't matter. It's in their member. That's why you see it, because they're going to be there. What did it say? Joshua 23, 12 through 13. If you go back on your word and go into them and marry them, they shall be a thorn in your eye, and I will not drive them out of the land. You should be utterly destroyed. You don't I tell you, it's kind of like a science project. Thy knows the type of beings that you're dealing with. So you're not able to be around this type of individual. As you see, 500 years, and I can say the same for the black race in America, and still going through the same shit he was going through since the days of slavery. And it's like, for what reason? Like, everybody should be up by this point and eating. I mean, still being broke is no reason to enslave somebody, but now, what's the problem? And still on it, physically and or spiritually, still oppressing you. Over 500 years later, well, 400 years, but some say, I don't know, they call it the South American started in the 1500s. That's 500. They sold out too. It became the same energy as the enemies. I can't really even worry about them, because they be on that same shit. Exactly, racist as Mexicans. But as I gotta read up on that or research some more, come to find out, they're not. Well, I already knew that anyway. They're not even the natives of the land, even though they were here. Their land is more so Central America and South America, if not a little bit north of what you call Mexico, if even. But I would even argue the Mexico belonged to the natives, or at least more of it. And they say they were Aztec millions. I'm like, yeah, somebody argued that, but I'm like, it could have been the land. I mean, the land mass was more. I mean, it could have been the same people. It is an argument, but as is stated today, they aren't the same people. And they actually, they argue, they stole the land or parts of the land from the natives, or what you call natives. And I'll say I'm the native, but anyway, from the natives, what you call Indians. So showing clearly not the same people. So, like I said, they already sold out and be acting like them too. So I can only cite my oppression, but started in, or on paper anyway. I said you gotta probably give up 100 years, if not 1619. So 2019 made it 400 years, and it says in the Genesis, either 15th or 32nd chapter, somewhere around there, I've got the verse, that after 400 years, You shall serve as slave. Well, you serve as slave for 400 years, and after that, I shall punish these nations in whom you serve. And like I said, you chose the wrong time as a black man to sell out those who did, because you see a lot of otherworldly or unidentified crafts happened at that point in time anyway, was showing up all over the planet. Crazy. From like 2018 to 2020, 2021, or even before that, but especially around that time, crazy sightings. Kind of, well, at least anyway, as far as the media coverage that I'm able to get, it kind of died down. But around that time, or leading up to that time, that's all you saw was aircraft or unidentified or otherworldly crafts, or the minimum advanced government crafts. But either way, this shows that it will never stop. Back to the point of it, it will never overflow. And they were to the end of Deuteronomy. I mean, they're not like highlighted all the time, but like I said, right there, Psalms, and probably even later, Amalek is still there. And I just learned that simple Google search and showed me Amalek is a descendant. I gotta find that book. I guess it's in First Chronicles, probably second chapter. The offspring of what's his name, of Esau. And now come to find out why, the same way the Edomites. So are they considered to be? That's the question. Are they considered to be Edomites? Because if he's the offspring of Esau, he's what you consider to be an Edomite. But at least for that, you have the enemy doing what he's been doing all of the time, and attacking you for over 400 years and never stopping. So yeah, I believe it's Chronicles. I believe it's second chapter, but I'm not able to find it. Or you could probably Google that, the Esau's bloodline and Chronicles. But yeah, that's crazy. He's the descendant of Esau, which even make it more, because the Edomites already pledged, because they said their blood. That's why they do it. Their bloodline or their birthright was stolen by Israel or Yaqub, which in reality was true. But like I said, I'm just going to outshine you by being me. Like I said, what do you actually hype about? You rule the earth, but like I said, I'd rather be just a regular Israelite rather than either Yahuda or the Yevites, because they have it the hardest. They have to maintain. It's like they're doing the job so that everybody can live in peace. So you want to rule, but you don't want to rule in the way the Torah says to rule, as it says the laws of Moses, how the king is to conduct himself. It's actually better not for you to rule, but still be a part of the tribes and keep the law, because whoever's the king and the priest have the most draining jobs, because they have to maintain the order. In all the other 12 or 10 tribes, besides the Levites and those of Yahuda, they can just live life and don't have to worry about it. As long as you know the king is righteous, the burden is upon the negus and the priests to maintain everything. The ceremonies of high priesthood and the priesthood, the king having to keep order in the land, continuously watching and going around and questioning to see what could be done and make it better. You don't want to be in charge. If you see, as I said, only who actually wants to be in charge, and even Socrates says that, unless they really want to be negative, as Thrasymachus was looking to do. Who wants to be in charge? But he wants to be in charge, but not how the Torah says to be in charge. So really being in charge now is pointless. That's the whole purpose of being in charge. But see, he don't see the sacrifice, and nobody wants to do it unless they're going to abuse their authority. So as you see, he wants to rule, but rule like retardedly, and what's going to lead to destruction. As it said about all the kings, first king and second kings. I believe it is, or yeah, it is kings, where it shows the bloodlines. So and so king did evil in thy sight,